All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're discovering exactly how seniors are taking their home equity and transforming it into a seriously dynamic financial safety net. If you're approaching retirement, or hey, maybe you're already there, you know absolutely how crucial it is to have peace of mind. So we're going to explore a strategy that completely shifts the conversation away from, just borrowing money and focuses purely on wealth preservation and taking back control of your cash flow. We're breaking down a pretty fascinating wealth preservation strategy, and this comes straight from the experts over at the Payoff pros. What they've done is literally reframe how we look at the value that's just locked up inside our homes. I mean, let's be real, folks aged 60 and older generally don't want more debt. They want security. And the concepts we're unpacking today provide exactly that. It's all about turning that idle equity into a highly functional tool. So here's our roadmap for today. First, the retirement income paradox. Second, unlocking trapped clean energy. Then we'll look at two real-world examples. Profile A, the debt consolidators, and Profile B, the asset protectors. Finally, we'll wrap up with securing your cash reserve. All right, starting with Section 1, the retirement income paradox. This is a massive, universal pain point for anyone 60 and older. This is the classic house-rich, cash-poor paradox. Think about it. On paper, you might look incredibly wealthy. You could have a $600,000 home, completely paid off, no mortgage. But here's the catch. That equity is totally illiquid until you either sell the house or take out a traditional loan. So what happens? You end up with massive sleep-losing stress over a $15,000 HVAC replacement or maybe some sudden healthcare costs. Why? Because your monthly cash flow is restricted by fixed retirement income. Having millions in illiquid equity doesn't easily fix an everyday emergency. And that brings us to a frustrating barrier known as the income wall. Seniors slam into this wall because, well, traditional banks lend money based on your income, not just your assets. So even with absolutely perfect credit and massive home equity, the moment you transition away from that steady paycheck and start relying on fixed retirement income, Social Security, pensions, required minimum distributions, qualifying for a significant line of credit gets exponentially harder. Suddenly, traditional borrowing turns into a total nightmare. Section 2, unlocking trapped clean energy. Because the crucial pivot here is getting away from traditional borrowing and taking back total control of your cash flow. Your home equity is trapped clean energy. I absolutely love this phrasing. Think about it for a second. You spent decades, literally decades, working hard and paying for your house. It was this massive sink for your capital. Well, now it's time for that house to reverse roles and provide a security blanket for you. All that equity? It's just sitting there, trapped behind the drywall. It's clean energy just waiting to be tapped into. The solution here isn't just another traditional loan. No, this strategy uses an all-in-one, or AIO, first lien HELOC. Unlike your standard rigid mortgage, this is a completely fluid two-way account. It essentially acts like a checking account combined with a credit line. So rather than looking at this as, I'm taking on new debt, you should view it as a dynamic wealth preservation tool. It's designed specifically to turn that idle drywall wealth into optimized liquidity. We're talking pure peace of mind, completely minus those rigid monthly payments. Let's look at Section 3, Profile A, the debt consolidators. We're going to see how this actually builds a lifeline for a 63-year-old couple currently managing some existing debt. Okay, picture this breakdown. This couple has a traditional mortgage of $120,000, an auto loan for $15,000, and about $8,000 in credit card minimums. Altogether, their total debt is $143,000. But here's the real kicker. They are facing $1,600 in rigid, non-negotiable monthly friction. That traditional bad debt forces these structural monthly payments that literally just swallow up their fixed retirement income. But by moving that entire $143,000 balance into an AIO HELOC, the whole game changes. First up, they completely eliminate amortized pressure. That means that rigid $1,600 forced payment, poof, gone. Second, they get serious interest minimization. The retirement income deposits go directly into this account, which safely lowers the daily balance and slashes the interest owed. And finally, they regain total control. They only pay interest on what they actually owe, and every single dollar they deposit remains 100% accessible for emergencies. Basically, they transition to zero bad debt while keeping maximum flexibility. It's a real game changer. Section 4, Profile B, the asset protectors. Because what if you have zero debt and already own your home free and clear? Let's look at the get it while you can strategy. $0. Let that sink in. That is exactly what it costs to hold a massive $300,000 credit line if you don't draw a single dollar from it. This is absolutely vital to understand if you're a senior who feels totally secure just because you don't have a mortgage. Because the truth is, without a liquid buffer, you are actually deeply vulnerable to a sudden financial shock. Which brings us to creating a 30-year safety net. The golden rule here: secure the credit line while you're still working, say right around age 60. You want to get it while your income is strong, well before you slam into that income wall we talked about earlier. Then you just let it sit there. Keep it completely idle as your standby strategic reserve. And then way down the road in your 70s, 80s, or even 90s, when those big-ticket life events inevitably pop up, you simply write a check against it. No stress. Having this standby reserve locked in gives you something priceless: guaranteed autonomy. Think about the nightmares this prevents. It ensures you never have to panic sell your market investments during a downturn. You avoid triggering brutal capital gains taxes. You never, ever have to awkwardly ask family members for financial help. And honestly, most importantly, it completely prevents a forced home sale just because you need to cover medical bills or pay for accessibility remodeling. Flexibility over friction. It really all boils down to that core idea. See, traditional banks, they demand a fixed payment every 30 days on their rigid schedule. But this AIO HELOC strategy, it gives you a 30-year window where you get to dictate the terms. You control when and exactly how you use your capital. And that leads us perfectly into Section 5, securing your cash reserve. Because getting this safety net locked in today is what fundamentally protects your lifestyle tomorrow, long after those steady paychecks have stopped rolling in. So if you're sitting there wondering how to deploy this exact framework for your own life, whether you're looking to be a debt consolidator or an asset protector, you'll want to connect with Eric over at the Payoff Pros. You can shoot him an email at eric@thepayoffpros.com, give him a ring at 602-430-7519, or even stop by their office on North Hayden Road in Scottsdale, Arizona. His NMLS ID is right there too, 1936984 for your records. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one critical question. Take a hard look at your own situation and ask yourself, is your wealth truly preserved and actively working for you as a dynamic safety net? Or is it just trapped clean energy, sitting completely idle behind your drywall? It's an incredibly powerful shift in perspective, and honestly, it's one that could completely redefine your financial peace of mind in retirement. Thanks for joining me today.